My name is Lucinda Marsh, and this is my informative speech on the No Child Left Behind Act. And this is my audience. The No Child Left Behind Act was signed into law in 2001 by George W. Bush. It has come under scrutiny because it is not inclusive of smaller subgroups, not effective in closing the achievement gap between white students and minority students, and funding is insufficient to achieve the desired results. There are, however, some advantages. The adequate yearly progress report ranks the performance of public schools. It holds the schools and the school districts accountable for student success on state standardized assessments. It analyzes the current use of time pertaining to improved instruction. Parents and teachers are now more engaged. Free tutoring is offered to children of low-income communities and students with learning disabilities, and parents have an option to transfer their child from a school with a failing grade to a school with a passing grade. There are, however, some disadvantages, one being safe harbor status. Safe harbor status offers forgiveness to schools for low test scores. Another disadvantage included in this is that it does not take into account small groups of less than 40. It's possible to circumvent these penalties. Even though a school has not met the requirements, if they've shown improvement since last year, that improvement only has to be 10% improvement. The No Child Left Behind gives monetary resources for social and economically disadvantaged children. There's a strong immediate motivation to increase the student success percentages on particular tests, but there's no evidence that this will remain consistent. And there's a variation in the law from state to state. Safe harbor status also has administrative costs. Even though school districts have not agreed with the law, they've complied with this law because of the federal education funding. Schools lack the incentive to admit children with lower failing test scores, and there has been a negative impact on low and income families, which this law was brought about to include, which makes it unproductive and divisive. Also, another disadvantage is colorblindness, and I'll just talk about a few of those issues. No Child Left Behind adds to the discussion of race in America. Freeman, in a 2005 study, cites historian V. O. Key. There can be no adequate understanding of American society without first understanding the enduring influence of race. This ideology he refers to as colorblindness. No Child Left Behind also acts as a political tool. It steers educational policy towards the reinforcement of the dominant culture as the norm. There's a lack of universality in the law, meaning it varies from state to state. Schools can fall within safe harbor status, meaning that they don't have to show much improvement, only 10%. Academic performance is directly related to family circumstances. We need to be concerned about the welfare of children. Academic performance cannot sufficiently measure and put an end to the burdens that some children experience on a daily basis. It is necessary to be concerned with the welfare of children even when they're not in school. Also, No Child Left Behind Act gives the illusion of progress because they compare schools that are not identical. For example, out of 120 high schools in New York, 6% of the schools where Black and Latinos are the majority. Only 40% of those students graduate, but they're compared to the majority of the schools where the majority of the students are white, which is 94%, and 80% of those students graduate within 4 years. In conclusion, there's an enormous amount of research related to the No Child Left Behind Act. The usefulness of this research is it sheds a light on the gaps in administration, gaps in the legislation, which are administrative costs, continuation of positive teaching behaviors associated with safe harbor status, and the necessity to effectively educate those children who speak English as a second language. Contrary to its claim of No Child Left Behind, this legislation is not inclusive of smaller subgroups and has not gotten the required results. Thank you.